What's going on, guys? Greg here. Today I'm going to show you how to install racing seats, seat brackets, and sliders in your Mark IV Supra. So in the Supra right now, you can see I have the OEM original leather seats. They're all dried out. They're cracked and even ripped at the bottom here. And reupholstering these are pretty expensive. I'm going to keep these seats and just get them reupholstered at some point. But in the meanwhile, I purchased some new Sparco seats for the car. And I got some sliders and some Titan seat brackets as well. And these are the Titan low mount seat brackets. I didn't go with the Sparco seat brackets because those actually sit pretty high in the vehicle. And we don't want that because it's going to feel awkward. And if you do go racing, you don't want your helmet hitting the roof either. So these are really nice, sits down low, lower center of gravity as well. So I'm going to show you step by step on how to actually put these parts all together. I know on YouTube there's not many detailed videos on racing seats in the Mark IV Supra. Usually it's a video of someone already having it in their car and just showing a quick review. But today we're going to show you the actual assembly of the bracket, the slider, to the seat, and then into the car. This seat is a bottom mount seat, so you can see that there's 4 bolts where these go. And all the hardware you have to purchase separately, but I'll put the link to where you can purchase all these parts. These are the bolts for the seat. Comes with some washers, some nuts, and there's 2 different length bolts. 4 of them are for mounting the bracket to the seat, which I use the longer bolts for, and then 4 of the shorter ones are for mounting the seat bracket to the slider. So it's a 2-step process. I found it easiest to first mount the slider to the seat, and then you adjust the slider front and back so you can get access to putting a nut and a bolt in here to mount to the seat bracket. The slider comes out of the box in 3 pieces. It's the slider on each side, and then this bar, which is to move it back and forth when you pull up on it. So when you install it, you want to have it in this direction, because the slider handle you want in the front of the seat, so when you reach down underneath your legs, you're going to pull up on it, and then you can slide the seat back and forth. And you want to mount this handle so that it's angled downwards, because when you pull up on it, if you have it pointed up, then it might hit against the bottom of the seat and you won't be able to move the seat back and forth. So when you mount this on, it just slides on to these metal hooks right here. Slides on both sides, and you want it mounted downwards. So when you pull up on it, there's some room against the seat. And then once you have it like that, you're going to mount the seat brackets, the sliders now, to the bottom of the seat. I'm going to use the long bolts for this one, and you can just torque it down loosely until you have all 4 of them. So you want to just do the top 2 not too tight, and then that way there will still be some wiggle room to do the other 2 bolts on the bottom. So once we have the top 2, we have to move these part of the slider up so we can now bolt down the other 2 to the seat. So what you're going to do is push up on this handle, and then you can push the slider up. Alright, so now we have those bottom 2 mounted. Now the whole slider is now assembled and attached to the seat. Now we have to work on the seat bracket to the seat slider. The only thing with this Titan bracket is that these 4 holes, or 2 of the holes, don't really match up with the holes on the slider. And that's probably because they're made by different companies, so there's obviously not going to be the best fitment. So I had to take a Dremel and sort of drill out the side of the hole, and that's just to give it a little bit more clearance. As you can see, the top of this is a little bit more rounded off versus the rest of it. So I had to drill out with the Dremel maybe a millimeter or two off the bottom portion of that, which is the top portion of the Titan here, where it has the logo, and do that on both sides. I did not have to modify the bottom holes. Those lined up fine. So it's just a little bit of cutting and it'll get it to fit perfectly. So the Titan logo goes on the back of the seat because we have the seat belt mounting point here. And that's going to go on your right side of your body since this is the driver's side. We just mount up these 4 holes like that. Like that. And we're going to take our short bolt or washer and our nut. The bolt is going to go in from the inside like that. Then you're going to put the bracket hole over, oops, it's going to go over the bolt, and then we're going to put the nut onto the bolt and tighten it down. Then once you do the top 2, we're going to have to slide the slider forwards in order to be able to reach the front part of the bracket here. Alright, so I have the bolt and nut mounted on the back of the bracket, and I moved the slider all the way forward, so now we can reach this hole and that side of the bracket. So we're just going to get our next nut, feed it through, we're going to put our washer and then nut, and then we'll tighten everything down, and that's all set with mounting the seat brackets sliders to the seats, and then we'll go ahead and move on to putting them into the car. Alright, so I'm here in the front of the car. We got to remove the front seats now. There's 2 bolts on the back here, and underneath this plastic cover there's gonna be another bolt. Then we gotta move the seat back so we can get access to the front bolts here, which will be, keep it going, then we gotta remove these plastic covers, and then there'll be a bolt under each of those. Once that, all the bolts are off, lift the seat up carefully, make sure you unplug the wiring harness, and then you can take the seat out. Alright, we got the seat out. Here are the 2 plugs that we had to take off. One's for probably the airbag or the seat sensor, and the other one is for the power. And this is probably a good opportunity to come in here and vacuum your carpet. Just took the nut off the seatbelt receiver. It's right here. It's a 14 millimeter. Once you pop that off, you gotta kind of just pop up this trim a little bit, and it should slide right out like that. Unhook it here. I think it's just like some tape. And unhook this, and then that way we can plug it back into the car, and that way when you plug your seatbelt in, you won't have the seatbelt light anymore. Alright, so we got the Sparkle seat fitted in the driver's side. First impressions, it's really nice. The perfect fitment. You know, the bracket goes in perfectly in the OEM mounting holes, front and back. Slider is perfect. I have no clearance issues whatsoever. So you can see the reclining lever here. There's a lot of space in between the chassis. Shoulder bolstering, a lot of space between the door. So you don't got to worry about this rubbing. Doesn't hit the B-pillar. On this side, there's a lot of space here for the seatbelt receiver, which goes on this bracket down below. I have to source some hardware to mount that on there. I don't have it right now, but I'm just seeing how this all fits. If you move the seat forward, it hits this side a little bit, but that's if you're moved all the way forward, and this is soft, so it will squish inwards. It's not gonna really mark anything up on the interior. It looks super good in the car itself, really clean. All right, we're here on the passenger side. Took the seat off. There's only one harness for the seat belt light, so we can keep that there. I took the seat out, put it aside. We're gonna take the receiver off of it and reuse it for our seat bracket. The only thing we have to do is get rid of this amplifier because the way it sits so high up, there's not gonna be enough clearance to put the low mount seat bracket. And this doesn't do me any harm because I have an aftermarket radio anyway, and I got rid of the factory sub. So this is completely useless. It doesn't power anything right now. It's just weight to the car. So this is all coming off. It's looks like two 10mm bolts that hold it to the car, and a couple wiring harnesses here that we have to unplug, and then we'll go ahead and put that to the side. Alright guys, we have both seats in. They look really nice. Installation was not that bad at all. Just pretty much putting bolts and nuts together for the most part. I really like how these look. They're really slick. They don't look rice at all. They're like, they match the interior. It's got a hint of the white Sparko, matches the rest of the car. Follow my IG if you're interested, but I think it looks really good. Take a look from the back. See it from the back, that looks pretty sick as well. You got the Sparko on the back of the headrest. A little bit of hint, white and black going on with this car. And then from the driver's side, I think that looks pretty sweet as well. Open the door a little bit wider so you can get a better angle of what the side looks like. But yeah, everything is great. You can still reach for the trunk release and the gas release as well. But that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the installation video. I haven't made a video like this in a while, so I apologize if it's you know, not the best quality. Sometimes I tend to talk too much, but you know, I wanted to make this as detailed as possible. There's not a lot of videos like this on YouTube. So for the Mark IV Supra, racing seats install, sliders, and everything. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you found it helpful, and if you want to see more of this, give me a like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks, guys.